we need to welcome Nabeel Azeez in here. He is the founder of Dropkick Copy. That is the service side of his business, email marketing, etc., etc. He also has a new education program called Copy Skills, where he is developing copywriting skills for everyone who wants to participate, specifically in the global South. And I am excited about this because I think everybody in e-commerce is discovering the path forward is finding excellent, especially here in the US, finding excellent international talent that is equipped and adept with AI, and then scaling profits forever and forever up and to the right. We need to welcome inside of this show, Nabeel Azeez. Nabeel, get in here. Get in here, Nabil. There he is.
Let's
Nabil.
go.
Howdy, partners.
Brother, you're looking good with that beard and dressed up right. Brother, we all came suited and booted today. Let's go, man.
Well, listen, I'm trying to help you guys get acquired by Shopify. So
now we're talking. Now we're talking, Nabil. You see the vision. You see the future, Nabil. I feel that.
What is it called? We're going to change the name to ECPN now, or what?
Maybe so. Maybe so. I wouldn't mind that destination, Nabil. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
For sure.
Maybe we should even clip that and send that to our good friends at Shopify, or whoever should want to see that.
I dig it. And if you do get acquired, maybe you give me a little taste.
Just a little taste. Just a little taste for casting the vision on the show. I think that's only right, Nabil.
Yeah.
Now, Nabil, man, you've got to give everybody a little bit of your backstory here for how you got to where you are, man, because you're Sri Lankan, you're living in Dubai, and man, you are like Twitter famous lore. I mean, a few years ago, all anybody could ever talk about on my corner of the internet was copywriting. I mean, it's everywhere and in every way. And man, your name comes up again and again and again and again. Man, how did you get to becoming Twitter famous copywriter of the stars and working with all the people that you have? How'd you get here?
That's very kind of you. I gotta put you guys on the payroll as my hype man.
Let's go.
Very gracious of you.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm actually a self-taught copywriter. I was introduced to copywriting through Ramit Sethi. I don't know if you guys know him. He's the founder of IWillTeachYouToBeRich.com.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's a personal finance and self-improvement coach, and he's a very good copywriter himself. So I got introduced to it through him, and then I sort of went down the rabbit hole. Did it part-time for a few years while I was working my day job, and then went all in around 2018. And so that's what I've been doing since then. Most of my clients are, I guess pretty much all of my clients are actually B2B.
Really?
And consulting, high-ticket coaches, that kind of thing. I'm more like Andre Hakel, who you've had on your show.
Yeah.
But, I have a good friend of mine. He keeps launching e-com brands. So whenever he does, he brings me on to write their emails. So that's where I get my whatever little e-commerce experience copywriting that I have.
Wow, man, that's incredible, man. You got into, and this is the thing that I love about the internet, and I especially love about e-commerce for me, is that this same story that you're describing can be borne out again and again. It's like, I didn't have to go to school for this. Even if I could have, I would have known where to go and get trained. I just picked it up and learned it and endeavored and found the right sources on the internet. And then I started doing it. And, it's like a promise of freedom. That's the thing that I love about what we do. That's an incredible story, man. Go ahead,
Nabil. Yeah, for sure. Nabil, could you talk to us a little bit about what most e-commerce companies get wrong about copy? You have probably seen a ton of copy at this point. You've probably seen a ton from e-commerce operators, and a ton of copy that is probably a little cringe now with your eyes and your lens that you're seeing the world through. What do they get wrong when they are trying to do this?
So the biggest mistake every business, whether it's e-com or not, tries to make is they try to write copy like big brands. They try to be like Apple, and they do that with their design. They do that with all of their marketing. Is they try to be like a big brand. So most businesses, most brands, when they're starting out, they need to be a lot more direct because people don't know who they are. And so you literally have to explain things as if you're explaining them to a 5-year-old. And so that's the number one thing or area where they make a mistake is they're not clear enough in their copy. They try to be too fancy, they try to be too cute or too clever or too esoteric with their writing, when they should be just being a lot more direct, and that'll probably get them a lot further than anything that they're doing right now.
I love that.
Do you think, Nabil, that the coming of AI and now, I mean, for me, as far as email marketing is concerned, I just always do it the old fashioned way. Just think about what I want to say and then write it. And then, the LLMs came to us, and then I type a few things in. Wow. Like I got a great thing to work from here. And sometimes I've just shipped it out. It's like, yeah, good enough. Let's go. But do you think that the coming of LLMs has contributed to this kind of like sea of sameness where, brands, businesses, et cetera, they're too verbose. They're too, they sound like Apple instead of being direct and kind of cutting through the noise. How has the coming of LLMs and AI kind of changed copywriting or marketing in general from your viewpoint?
So the number one thing I see is that even before AI, there was a lot of human slop, right? And so most people are not good at writing copy. So when they do try to write content or copy or marketing collaterals, they don't do a good job of it. So what AI has done now is it allows them to produce human slop at scale, because AI is.
I like this. Keep going.
So AI is trained on. It's basically aggregating like the sum total average. Like it's basically regressing to the mean when it writes when it tries to write copy, right? Now you can, if you have somebody competent who's prompting it, giving the right amount of context and things of that nature, you can get it to produce better writing than you would if you would just prompt it as somebody who doesn't know anything about copywriting. So that's what is happening right now. People are using AI who were not good writers to begin with. And so the content that they're producing, or the copy that they're producing, or the marketing collaterals that they're producing, they don't know that it's bad, and so they don't know how to edit it. But in general, like for the people who are competent, what AI has done is it's removed the laborious part of coming up with messaging. So compiling research and coming up with first drafts and coming up with variations, that is much faster now. The reason why good copy used to take so long is because you were pretty much writing it, from scratch. But you don't have to do that now. And in general, copy has never you're never really writing copy from a blank page. You're always assembling it from research. And so now with LLMs and being able to give it your process, like every copywriter has their own process or comes to their own process for assembling copy. And so what copywriters are doing now is they're basically teaching that process to AI and having the AI help them do the actual grunt work. And even before AI, we would have like senior copywriters would have their copy cubs or junior copywriters. And so those junior copywriters would be responsible for compiling a lot of the research and putting together the first draft. And then the senior copywriter would review, or the copy chief would review and give feedback, make changes, et cetera, et cetera. And so that first draft, or that copy that the junior copywriter produced, it was never run live. It was always a polished version that would get put in front of the audience or put in front of the market. So that's basically what you need to do with AI now. So AI has taken the place of your junior copywriter or your first draft.
Wow.
Tell me this. Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
No, all you, please.
Yeah, tell me this, Nabil. I think that when it comes to copywriting now, and I'm specifically talking inside of the space that we kind of live in every day and in every way with e-commerce, brother, I don't even hear this term anymore. I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
And when I do hear it, the first thing that I think of, honestly, Nabil, is like copywriting. That's like words. Like that's good, but like I need more than words. I need video. I need statics. I need, it's like I need would I hire a copywriter who's just going to write words? I need like I need somebody that can do like 4 or 5 things all together. And I think what that has like defaulted to is this creative strategist role that is so hot right now. Everybody that we talk to, whether a headhunter, whether somebody hiring, it's always creative strategist. Brother, what's the difference? I mean, do you have copywriters that you train, that get hired as creative strategists? Is this like, do you see this as like something that gets mentioned or gets hired less and less? I feel like there's a very valid role and contribution that copywriters are absolutely making, or unfortunately aren't making because we're not hiring them. How do you see the difference between those two?
So most of the coaching programs right now are teaching copywriters how to get creative strategist jobs. Because
Okay.
what a creative strategist is just a meta ads copywriter. We just changed the name. So what does a creative strategist do? They research the market. They look at what ads are running now. They look at what competitors are doing. They look at they mine reviews and things like that. So they're doing research. They're coming up with scripts, whether that's written scripts or scripts for video. They're coming up with scripts. They're offering creative direction to the editors and the designers, and they're reviewing data to find out what's working, and then they're making iterations and changes based off of the data. And that's exactly what a copywriter does. It's the exact same job. Now, where a copywriter differs is, I'm going to say copywriter, but in general, what I mean is a good copywriter. A good copywriter has knowledge of the entire funnel and can write for different, like basically every step of the funnel. Mm-hmm. 2, they are more complete marketers, so they understand markets, they understand product creation, they understand offers and things of that nature. And 3, they know math and things like that, so they know unit economics. So the copywriter is a much more complete kind of marketer who is also able to do this job called creative strategy. Now, where did creative strategy come from? It's because Meta Ads, which is the primary platform where a lot of e-commerce brands run their ads, needs so much creative, whether that's statics or video, to keep it fed and keep it alive and keep your keep spending your budget. So brands now need somebody who's dedicated just to that.
Yeah.
And so that's where the creative strategist comes from. But before these changes, Meta Andromeda and whatever changes they've made to their algorithm, that was just handled by the Meta Ads copywriter, and it might have been just the copywriter who's in-house, who's writing their Meta Ads, running their emails, writing their landing pages, etc., etc. But back then they didn't need as much creative. Now they need a lot more creative, something like 30 to 50 pieces of creative per week.
Yeah.
And so now you need a dedicated person to manage that. So that's where the creative strategists come from. But really, it's just a Meta Ads copywriter.
That's an interesting POV, and I'm glad that you brought that out, because that bridges the gap, the persona talent there a little more for me.
Yeah. Nabil, could you touch on that a little bit more? I mean, Meta Ads is so much of our bread and butter. And could you talk about some potential copy best practices that are sitting inside of Meta Ads or sitting inside of Meta Copy that all brands should be paying attention to, or at least testing out in this day and age right now?
So I think what I've been seeing, and I see a lot of people talking about this on Twitter, is the AI slop ads are doing really well. So so the fruit dramas, the AI fruit dramas, like
let's go,
like the strawberry gets cheated on.
Yes, yeah, we love it.
That's right. That's right. They do well.
And then there's the ads where the body parts. So I saw an ad on Twitter the other day. It's like it was a talking butthole, and it's some kind of supplement for like
beautiful
groups or something like that.
Amazing.
There was another ad I saw. It was like talking lady parts. where it's like a bunch of
Okay.
variations talking lady parts. So those are doing really well. So now you have like the creative strategists and copywriters. They're seeing a lot more different media formats that they need to be able to write for. So like
Yeah.
because of AI, they're able to create these kinds of different creatives that were not possible before unless you spent a lot of money on creating them. So like claymation animations,
Yeah.
anime style creatives.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch Psyop Anime on Twitter, where he does
No.
he
Oh
does the
yes, I
news.
have.
Yeah,
Yes, it's fascinating.
yeah. So he does the news. He does the news in anime, right? So you can do
Wow.
that
Crazy.
kind of creative. So you just need to be very familiar with all the different kinds of media formats or different kinds of creative concepts that are running right now. In general, I like to say you need to be. I mean, if you're advertising online, you need to be a man or a woman of the internet. So you need to be
Mm.
consuming a lot of. You need to be doom scrolling and doom scrolling with purpose because I know you've had Orange John and Jamie Gannon on.
Yeah.
They do their bookmarks and things like that. So you need to be bookmarking a lot of stuff. So you need to have your folders of different
Yeah.
inspiration and things like that. So that's what they need to do. The other thing that's working well, I don't know, there's this guy on Twitter. His name is Kamal Razak. He goes on about founder ads, so getting the founders in the
Oh
ads a
yeah.
lot. So that works
Yeah.
really well. And in general, getting the founder in front and facing the prospect or the market is good is a good idea overall. Whether that's in your
Yeah.
ads or in your emails, or on other marketing collaterals, it helps.
Tell me this, Nabil. You know, you are a man of words. You are. And I think that this point that you're bringing up about like being a person that is like a man or woman of the internet, I think it's totally valid, and it is the case. You have to be taking in those things that they spark interest, they hook you. Why do they hook you? What words did they use to bring you in, to draw your attention? Um, I I wonder I wonder like for your education program. Copy skills. Is that what it's called, Nabil? Tell us about this, and tell us how you're educating these people, because man, this is like, it's such a necessary need. And I feel like you have brought out, there's like so many businesses, they're like white rice. I've heard you use this illustration. There's like no taste, there's no flavor. And you've got to help these copywriters that you are training
Yeah.
to add flavor, taste, be blunt, be funny, somehow get attention. Man, how do you help them do this?
So before I start with trading copywriters, my recommendation always is to have the brand's founder write all their copy when they start off, when they're growing. I think probably like until you get to 10 million a year, like the founder could be writing most of the copy. But
Mm.
all they have to do is like read a couple of books on copywriting, and they could write their own ads. I know there's a bunch of founders like they run their own ads themselves as well. Like they
Yeah.
don't want to work with agencies, so it's not that hard for them to write their own copy. If they spend like a month, like 20 hours focused learning it, they could write their own copy. Now, the reason why copywriters exist is because founders don't want to write their own copy, or marketers don't want to write their own copy. So all we're doing is we're basically taking the work off of their plate. In fact, if a founder were to put in the time and get halfway decent at writing copy, they would probably write much better copy than a trained copywriter, because it's their brand, it's their baby. Nobody's gonna
Yeah.
care about it as much as they are. So that's the first point. So with regard to training copywriters, Copy Skills is my sort of membership community,
Yeah.
and we have a school community called Copywriting Launchpad, which is for beginner copywriters, where we train them. We train them on writing copy. We train them on the business side of things, more on the business side of things than the actual skill, uh, because there are plenty of resources available for people to learn copy, even for free. But on the business side of things, that's what we train them on. And then Copy Skills is sort of like, that was originally what I called the community, but I'm now making it a spin-off for people who own their own offers or own their own brands. So for the copywriters who want to learn about copywriting and have a career as a freelance copywriter, they got to go to Copywriting Launchpad on the school. And so
Excellent.
the way we train them is we have our courses. We have asynchronous coaching in the community, so they can ask any amount of questions they want. They can submit their copy for feedback, which I will critique for them. And that's basically how we do it. We do guest lectures sometimes. We bring in experts. We do extended workshops where I'll do like a workshop for like a week. I'm doing one next week actually. I'm teaching my email list management course called List Boss to the community, and that's running from Monday to Sunday. I'll be teaching that live. The course already exists, but I like to teach it live because it just gets a little bit creates a little bit more urgency for people to sign up.
And I saw a tweet of yours, and you said something like the best copywriter in the world is like this teenager who like came from this place and started picking up something and learning, and now she's working with all these like Brazilian companies. And tell me about this. Am I getting this story right? I'd like to hear from you because it stood out on the timeline. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it's a good story. I actually found out about it third hand by somebody else on the timeline, and her name is Amanda Khayat. She's a French Arab Brazilian copywriter. She's 17 years old. She started writing copy at 15, and she on her phone because she couldn't afford a computer.
Wild.
She doesn't speak English. Her ads have made over $20 million.
Wow.
And she right now she's a copy chief for direct response supplement companies in Brazil, which like the Brazilian guys, those are like the hardcore direct response outfits.
Yeah.
Gray hat or super black hat. So that's what she does. And there's a podcast interview of hers. I found her on the VTurb. VTurb is a software used by a VSL software used by direct response marketers. They have a YouTube channel, and she's got a podcast interview there. It's like a 3-hour podcast. She goes into her whole creative process and how she writes copy. But yeah, I would consider her the best creative strategist in the world right now.
Wow.
I mean, also in the same vein of giving people their flowers, can you think of any people in the B2B space that are not in your portfolio, but that you're admiring from afar, where you are loving what they're doing from a copy perspective as a company? They're not boring. It's exciting. It's actually interesting what they're doing. Is there any B2B companies that come to mind where you're actually just super fired up about their copy every day?
I can't think of one off the top of my head that actually has really good copy. There was one, I don't know if they still have this on their homepage, Coda. It's like the spreadsheet software. And on their homepage, the hero headline says, enough of this sheet. or I'm sick of this sheet or something like that. So
I love that.
That was a banger. I wish I had thought of that. So that's one that stands out for me. But I typically don't follow the actual companies for their copy. I'll follow copywriters who are writing in a particular vertical. So like I'll give you a couple like off of for ecom. Chris Orzi, who you guys know. I hope you guys had him on the show yet?
I don't know if
Chris
Orzi. He is coming. He's coming.
He's coming. Yeah,
He's coming.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's coming.
So like he writes for ecom brands. So he writes for Carnivore Snacks and he writes for this ranch. So his emails are very, very entertaining. So if you want to read Carnivore Snacks emails, that's all Chris Orzakowski, and his copy is very entertaining.
Incredible.
He's really good at what he does. There's another one. I don't know if he still writes ecom emails or ecom copy, but his name is Cardinal Mason. He's also on Twitter.
Oh yeah. That guy, boy, he's good at what he does.
He's really good. Yeah.
He's good at what he does. I don't think he does any ecom anymore. I think he's all in the info game now.
Yeah.
Well, he runs his coaching program called Copy MBA.
Yeah.
But he also has an email agency on that is like he still does email marketing for brands. So I don't know if it's him writing the emails, but it could be somebody on his team. But he is very good at writing email copy. He's a very entertaining copywriter. He's just generally very good at what he does. So those are two off the top of my head. If you want entertaining content.
Well, I think this is a good point too that you bring up. To me, this bridges the gap between copywriter and creative strategist because Cardinal Mason, he is I mean, I think part of the reason why his TikToks pop so hard is because he's a great copywriter. I mean,
Yeah.
I really believe that. Of course, he's got his like swaggy way that he does it, you know, but there's a heavy piece of that that is literally just knowing what words to say, when to say them, and how to say them. And you bring all of that to bear in video format. And what do you get? You get millions of views, which is what he's always pulling on TikTok. That's a great point. That really bridges the gap for me on the creative strategist and copywriter even more. Fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Nabil, now tell me this. People want to find you. They want to work
Yeah.
with you. I mean, emails, you know, they want to learn from you. Man, give us the list. Tell us like where to go, where to find you. How do people learn from you? How can they work with you for Dropkick or however that plays out? Give us the whole list, man.
So if you Google my name, I'm pretty much the only Nabeel Azeez on the planet because I own like the entire first page. So
There we
you can find
go.
all of my stuff there. Or like if you ask Grok, I'm pretty much the only Nabeel Azeez on the planet.
Let's go.
But other than that, I'll just give one call to action, and that's just DM me on Twitter or follow me on Twitter.
Got it.
You guys are a Twitter first media platform,
we are.
right? So
That is
Big
right.
time.
that's where I'll tell your audience to go. And then if they DM me Cowboy after watching this, then I'll know that they came from the show, and then I've got something special for them.
All
Let's go.
right. There we
Let's
go. Everybody, hey, and we don't know what it is, but it's going to be something good. Everybody go follow
that.
Nabil if you haven't already. DM him, tell him Cowboy, and you'll get a special surprise. Nabil, man, we appreciate you for making the time and coming on here and doing all that you do, contributing to the community and making us all men and women of words on the interwebs. Brother, thank you for joining us. Look forward to having you back, and we'll see you again soon, man.